right, so I'm not going to be able to do any type of coverage about the Canada federal election without talking about the elephant in the room, the Orange Menace. Because while Mark Carney is busy rebranding Canada, Donald Trump is south of the border prepping for his third term like it's WrestleMania and we're the co-main event. And that looming Trump redux isn't just a geopolitical problem, it's the entire rationale for Mark Carney's existence as prime minister. This is the part of the script where the Liberals stop pretending to be about ideas and just start waving the Canadian flag like a small child with a sparkler on Canada Day. That's welcome to the 2025 campaign. That's the real subtext. Vote or get annexed by America. And like the very minute that Trump won re-election, the Canadian political class broke into a cold sweat because in his first week back, he managed to threaten new aluminum tariffs, accuse Canada of being a fentanyl superhighway, and mused about annexing chunks of the Great Lakes like they were Puerto Rico. And what do we do in response? The elbows up thing. Right? This viral moment from Mike Myers on SNL, pantomiming Canadian defiance as if it were fighting off imperial conquest with like dad jokes and memes, Canadian memes. This is our resistance. It's a sketch comedy retort. Trump is threatening a trade war, immigration clampdowns, and a national humiliation on a global stage, essentially. And the SNL gag got cheers and made the SEALs clap, sure. But it also like perfectly encapsulates how the Liberals want to frame Mark Carney, like a technocrat with a firm handshake who will quietly take the empire down from invading cottage country. But let's be real, if Trump is the fire, Carney is the very elegant sprinkler system. His role isn't to resist America's influence, it's to manage it, channel it, soften the edges until we forget we're being steamrolled. And nowhere is that clearer than in how his campaign is shaping up. Because the liberal message is very simple. It's only Carney can keep Canada out of America's splash zone. He's serious about it. Mark Carney is serious. He's professional. He speaks central bank fluently. He knows which folks to talk to at the NATO luncheon. And in a world of rising right-wing lunacy, he is allegedly the adult in the room. But let's not confuse adult with leader, because Carney's entire political persona is premised on not being chaotic. That's it, really. He's not offering a vision, he's offering the absence of noise. And in a media ecosystem trained to panic over this Trumpian bluster, that contrast is very intoxicating, and that's why it works. But still, the idea that Carney is Canada's anti-Trump firewall is hollow. It's about as hollow as it is convenient. Because remember, this is a man who ran the Bank of England during Brexit, talked up climate finance while working for one of the world's biggest fossil fuel investors, and whose whole political project is built around preserving the structures that made Trump possible in the first place. But still, it still worked. The whole framing, it's Carney versus Trump, stability versus chaos. It's a rerun of 2016. It really is like a Clinton redux, but with better posture because of the Canadian Westminster parliamentary system, and it's not a two-party race. And obviously the liberal war room is dusting off the old playbook, and they present a polished technocrat outsider. That's the thing, is they learn, they're savvy, and that's their last line of defense against the barbarians at the gate that are the MAGA crew. That strategy really assumes that Canadians have that appetite for another round of managerial liberalism as resistance cosplay. And it assumes that we will still believe in this grown up in the room politics. It also assumes that after nearly a decade of broken promises, this cost of living crisis, and climate doublespeak, we're going to settle for vibes over vision again. And it's going to work. That's the thing. That's the terrifying part about it all, is it's going to work. The bar has dropped so low that this man with no seat, no mandate, no base is being sold as Canada's Churchill, or like Canada's FDR, because he knows how foreign exchange works. Obviously, like talking about sovereignty, because, well, the liberals warn about Trump and American overreach. They're quietly expanding America's footprint in Canada. economically, culturally, militarily. Carney isn't resisting the Americanization of Canada. He is its Canadian translator. He's here to harmonize trade policy, align defense spending, and turn Canada into a smooth, quiet junior partner in a new continental economic system that treats provinces like branch offices. Even now, like his language is about interpretability and trade corridor efficiency, North American competitiveness. These aren't the words of a man that's fighting for Canada's sovereignty. They're the words of a man looking to merge. That's what it is. And that brings us back to the moment that encapsulate this entire charade. And that, again, goes back to what I was saying. Mike Myers and SNL, flanked by a fake hockey team, shouting elbows up, and the audience whooped it up. It went viral, and it's for anyone who's just not like a Gen Xer that's obsessed with like Canadian nostalgia, it's essentially just meaningless, because like when it comes to defending Canadian autonomy, this liberal government has shown more interest in managing perception than in asserting itself or having any type of principle. Like, ask yourself, if America started demanding military concessions tomorrow or full spectrum data access under the guise of security, would you trust Canada to push back? You know, the central banker's favorite son, or literally anyone who didn't build their resume in like the halls of Davos. And again, don't get me wrong, I'm in no way, if I had to choose between the two, between Carney and Polyev, if I absolutely had to choose, I would obviously choose Carney. But what he is like he's Canada swinging right without actually going towards a quote unquote right wing party. And it's just simply because of the running on the Canada nationalism, the culture war politics, and then like the socioeconomic fallout, and then putting someone in who can say, oh, I'm trained, I have the args, I'm the best person for this position because of my resume, not because of my like public support previously or like my political acumen, et cetera, et cetera. But that's the thing, is that more and more like all of that stuff doesn't matter. Like political acumen doesn't matter, because it's that Americanization of Canadian politics. And people say it's coming. It's not. It's already here. Like it's obviously in the way that we campaign. It's the way that we legislate. It's the way that we frame every problem as a choice between the status quo or the fascists, right? And Mark Carney's pitch is that he can manage the fascists essentially. And you know, like how, like not even that long ago, the Liberals, like the Liberal Party of Canada, was literally like adopting anti-fascist rhetoric. Trudeau as prime minister was calling Trump fascist, or calling Trump supporters fascist, or the convoy supporters fascist, etc. But now the rhetoric has changed so much. But if you're still one of those people, the narrative that you're being sold is that like Carney can manage this. Not he's going to confront it, he's going to manage it. And by managing it, that's not the same as challenging it, right? It's and if your best line of defense against a resurgent far-right empire is a soft-spoken technocrat in a very nice tailored suit, maybe it's time to admit that this crisis is bigger than political personalities. Just a thought.